Alright, so, hold on, let me turn on this lamp here. The exposure isn't crazy. It's a little better. Bang my guitar up, why don't I? Alright, so today we're going to be learning A Hard Rain's A Gonna Fall by Bob Dylan. So for this song, you're going to want to be tuned in, I think it's called drop D. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to take the low E string and drop your pick. And you're going to tune it down so it's in tune with the third string down. So you're going to down tune just the top string here. Oops, sorry. That's what it should sound like if you're on the right pitch. Then you're going to go ahead and put your capo, if you have one, on the second fret here. That should sound like. Just make sure your cable's set nice and evenly. So the chords you're going to be using for this are actually quite simple. The song itself sounds pretty difficult to the beginner or even intermediate guitar player, which I am. So the chord you're going to be using is a D chord. So you're going to put your middle finger on the low E string, or high E string here. Ring finger on the second string up, but just so you can see that. On the third fret down, and then your index finger on the string above that on the same fret as the middle finger. So just a simple D chord. I recommend using a thinner pick for this, by the way, because it is a strumming song. So feel free to pause the video if you get stuck and just go back. So here we are as a D chord. And now, because you have down-tuned this top string here, you can't just play a normal G, because then the bass note sounds weird. So what we're going to do is substitute that. I don't know what the chord is called, but you're going to take your two little fingers here, and you're going to put the pinky finger on the high E string of the third fret, and then your ring finger right above that. You're going to put your index finger on the second fret of the second string down. So 1, 2, 3. And then your middle finger just sits there. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. My fingers there. 1, 2, 3. So far we have the D chord, the G substitute. Now we're going to be working on the A chord, which is probably the most difficult chord of the song, but once you get it a couple times you'll pretty much get the hang of it. So this chord is only difficult because it uses all 4 of these fingers. So you're going to take these 3 fingers and you're going to put them all on, I believe it's, yeah, that. So, pinky finger, second fret of the second string. It's right there. Ring finger, second fret of the third string. It's right there. Middle finger, second fret of the fourth string. And then index finger, second fret of the sixth string. The index finger is optional, but it does. That's what Dylan used, and that's why the song sounds like it does. So here it is without the index finger. But then when you put the index finger on and get that bass note, it sounds a lot better. So here it is again. 1 there. 1 there. And then 1 there. And then your index finger up top for that bass note. Don't be afraid if you lose room and the strings start buzzing. If you listen to the actual song, it sounds kind of raunchy like that, and the buzzing actually gives it character. So as long as it's not like really bad, but if it's mild, you know, it's gonna give it a little character. And you can barely hear the buzzing when you're strumming. So those are the first 3 chords. So that's the first part of the song, and the strumming pattern is gonna look a little bit like this. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Down, 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 up, down, down, down. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you gotta get the hang of that. The strumming is probably the easiest part to learn. So the beginning of the song is going to look a little bit like this. So you're going to keep strumming that D chord like I just taught you. This is where the first verse comes in. Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? And where have you been, my darling young one? So that's the first part I'm going to teach you guys. So you're going to be strumming the D chord, and you're going to down strum 3 times and up strum 1. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. You know, like I taught you. And if I'm going too fast, pause the video. It's really self-explanatory. Let me check if I got a Snapchat. I did. So you're going to strum that for pretty much as long as you want, until you're ready to sing the first verse. And it's, oh, where have you been? And then when you say, my blue-eyed son, that's when you switch to that G substitute. Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? My blue-eyed son. You kind of get that. Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? And just for the sake of teaching you, I'm just going to be down strumming the whole time until I actually teach you the full song. And then the second part of the first verse is, and where have you been, my darling young one? So right when you say young is when you switch to that A chord. So that's pretty much the first verse. Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? And if you want it to sound really like Dylan, you can either strum up here, right in this area, or you can strum in the middle of the sound hole and the bridge here. So you can strum right here. This really gives it the Dylan sound right here, as you can hear the difference. Just the tinginess, kind of. So pretty much keep practicing these chords. I'm going to give them to you one more time. Feel free to skip forward like 30 seconds if you don't want to watch this. But so the D chord here, most beginners learn the D chord as the first chord they learn. So it's that ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, which is your high E right here. For those of you who don't know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It counts up, not down. I made that mistake myself too when I started, so just for the beginners out there, that's how it is. So 1st string, 2nd fret, middle finger. 2nd string, 3rd fret, ring finger. Index finger, 3rd string up, 2nd fret. My bad. So that's the first chord. Second chord is you're going to leave that ring finger on the only 2 fingers. You're only going to be moving 3 fingers. So you're going to lift all these off and then put that pinky finger right underneath your ring finger and then move that index finger up to the 5th string of the 2nd fret. So the switch kind of looks like this. So you're using all these fingers, okay, except for these 2. And then you switch, and now you're not using this finger or this finger. the song is to practice that motion, is the switching and the strumming pattern at the same time. So practice this, what I'm about to do here. And then, so you're only going to be playing this. Pretty much the first time you strum this is for as long as you want, but the longer you drag it on, the more boring the song gets and people just don't want to listen. This is all depends on whether or not you're planning on playing this in front of somebody once you learn it. Drop another pick. You already know. That's fine though. And then you're going to strum this some more after you play that part. Again, this index finger is optional, but if you really want it to sound like Dylan, you get that bass note in there and you put your index finger on there. Speaking of bass notes, here's the A chord again. I think I forgot to give you that, guys. So it's your pinky finger on the second string of the second fret, index finger, second string, second fret, middle finger, third string, second fret, and then this is on the low E on the second fret. And then here it is without the low E. So there's an obvious difference, and you can really hear it resonating if you let the note play out before you go down to the next chords I'm about to teach you, which are the easiest chords in the entire song, besides the D here. So once you play that first verse is as you can see, before I played that verse, while I was strumming this one, right there, I kind of just throw in the substitute G, but you can worry about that after you learn the song, but it pretty much just adds character. And I don't think Bob Dylan did it in his song when he wrote it, but I do like what it adds. You can also throw in the A, I guess, but that's kind of unconventional in my opinion, but it still sounds pretty good. But don't worry about those two. You really don't need to do that. Again, pretty optional. The song sounds just as good if you don't do it. So here are those next chords. So you're going to pretty much go from that A and then down to this, I don't even know what you want to call these chords. They're just, we'll call them X chord and Y chord, you know. So X chord right here is, you're going to take the third fret right here, and you're going to put your middle finger on the high E of the third fret, so right here. Index finger on the string right above it in the same fret. And then ring finger on the string right above that, but on the fourth fret. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. I'm sticking my pinky out just so it doesn't look like I'm using that, because I'm not. It's just these 3 fingers right here. And you're going to strum that for a little bit while you sing, I walked in a cold, 6 crooked pounds. So halfway through each line, you're going to switch that down just 1 fret. So you're going to go from the third. You're going to move all the fingers down. So now your middle and index finger are on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th fret. So you're just gonna go from 3rd to 5th, 3rd, 5th. So that's that slide. So now, once you go from the 3rd, you're gonna go to the 5th. And I'll go more in depth for you guys real quick. So it's middle finger on the 5th fret of the high E, index finger right above that, and then a ring finger right above that on the 6th fret. And on the 3rd, now that you know all the chords, I'm going to probably break this video into 2 parts, and I'll upload the second part tomorrow or something. But just practice those chords pretty much. So you have the D, the substitute G, the A with the bass note. And then from the A you go to, we'll just call this X, I guess. Then you go to your Y chord. I don't know what you'd call those. It probably has some crazy name like A sus 4 sharp F or some bullshit, but we won't worry about names here because we both know if you're probably learning this song, you're either intermediate or beginner, especially if you're coming to my channel. So X and Y chord is what we're gonna call it. So keep practicing that. It's really simple song once you get the hang of it. I was this close to giving up, and then I realized it's very simple. It's extremely easy, so don't give up, guys. It's actually really simple. So that's pretty much it. I felt like I explained the song better than most of the guitar masters out there that were trying to teach the song, because I went out and I tried learning this song because it's like one of my favorite songs by Bob Dylan, and they didn't really go into depth enough for the beginners. They were just like, okay, now you're going to do your D chord, then you're going to do the substitute G, and then the A. And I'm like, okay, but where do my fingers go? And I had to keep pausing the video and like staring at his fingers, but I figured if I made a video, I'd go in more depth of that, and in risk of the video being a little bit longer, but it's worth it because now you guys know exactly where to put your fingers, which I think is a problem for most beginners. And he didn't really go into too much depth of the strumming pattern either, and he didn't really go into too much depth about strumming up here or up here. So that's pretty much why I'm making this video. It wasn't for fun or anything, but I feel like this should help. Anyways, keep practicing those chords, and I'll upload the full song tomorrow. Bye!